How about Gilad Shalit himself? His father Noam says he's in relatively good shape.
Gilad have just came home and makes his first steps at home. He's glad to return home, and we are glad that we want our son back. Gilad feels quite well. He suffers from minor injuries, and he will be treated by the army's authorities, and hopefully he will recover very soon.
Well, one of the many Israelis watching the footage of Gilad Shalit arrive was psychologist Oren Kaplan. So what's his impression of what 5 years in captivity have done to the Israeli soldier?
It looks much better than it could be imagined. And he also mentioned it, that he feels better or shows mental health or strength that probably is not expected. And of course the question is about the long term, about the next months and years, and not about these days that are naturally, very happy and exciting.
Of course. So tell us basically the stages, I guess, he's likely to go through. What's the big stumbling block, if you like?
So, of course, the first days are in the moments that were for so long expected and imagined and dreamt. So, coming back to the family, of course, it's the first stage. It's really not easy because he was a regular soldier, a regular citizen, and he's very famous in Israel. So it's not just coming back, but if he walks in the street anywhere in Israel, he will be recognized. He will be famous. Everybody will want to talk with him. And of course, in the first days, it can be nice, to know it and to know that everybody really thought about him and worried about him. But after a while, it can be a burden.
Specifically, what sort of problems might people go through? Because here, I'm reading here of an Israeli soldier who was kept for 8 months as prisoner of war in Syria. He says, I couldn't swallow anything. There was a terrible problem too, trying to just concentrate, those sort of things.
Yeah, it depends on the way they were treated. So in Syria they were tortured, they were treated very badly. And again, we don't know exactly the conditions that Gilad Shalit were held in. So it really depends what happened on these years. Those prisoners that came back from Syria, really some of them had PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorders, that affected their life for good, because some of the experiences cannot be, forgotten for life. We have evidence from the Holocaust of people that stayed in a concentration camp or isolated for years in hidden places that helped them to survive, and we know that some of them, came back to very normal life and coped with life. So there is no, a rule what's going to happen.
And if you saw him in the street and you were one of those people who went up and spoke to him and you were just to offer a word of advice, what would be that key word of advice, do you think?
The first thing is get back to the family and to the social life, because this is the component that is so missing in such, circumstances. So he's talking and talking and talking and get the social help and support from the close circle. And then, on the other hand, not expose himself too much to the public, to the media, because at the moment, there is a lot of excitement, and it's very difficult to avoid of wanting to talk with him, and he wants to talk with others, but on the long run, it's not healthy. So he has to limit in a way his exposure to the public and build his everyday life.
Psychologist Oren Kaplan.
It's 3:14 GMT. Now, the Italian government is considering whether to introduce anti-terrorism